but we're going to start off with a look over Doak Campbell Stadium. And as you can see, there's some clouds out there. Haven't seen a whole lot in the way of rain, but we are on the warm side, even though second full day of fall, 90 degrees, feeling very much like summertime. Partly cloudy skies, a little bit of a breeze though, kind of coming in from the south, running about 9 miles per hour. A lot of low 90s across the region. In fact, you can see 92 in Valdosta and Perry. A little cooler to our west though. Marianna and Bluntstown into the mid-80s, and of course, mid-80s also running at Apalachicola. So tonight in Tallahassee, if you're out and about, we're going to have a mild evening. Overnight low, though, as we head toward the morning hours, looking like we're going to drop down to 74 degrees. Then warm things up tomorrow, though not quite as hot as today. Looks like we'll see 86 degrees for the high. Again, a lot of clouds beginning to roll in, kind of a precursor to what we're expecting to happen here as we head toward Thursday. Here's your day planner. Early morning hours, we've got the mid-70s. Then we'll warm up to the mid-80s as we head toward noon. By 6 p.m., looks like temperatures staying about 85 degrees and even a slight chance of rain, 20%. Lots to talk about tonight, as I said. Of course, what's on everybody's mind. Tropical storm Helene, it was upgraded from a potential. Now it's a truly defined tropical system. We'll talk about that and its intensity and how it's going to adjust. Forecast for the southeast, because it's going to have a big impact from Helene. And also, Cicely's here, and she's going to share with you some hurricane safety tips. So all that and plenty of other information coming up in FSU weather. So, as I said, we have lots to talk about tonight. In fact, again, here's a live look over Doak Campbell Stadium. Again, we do have some clouds and some very warm temperatures. You may have noticed that, especially if you're walking across campus. 90 degrees, a few clouds out there. Here's the local radar. Despite the clouds, we don't have a whole lot in the way of rain. In fact, you won't see anything from Leon and Wakulla counties eastward. However, just to our west, a little bit of activity. A couple of showers. You can see the motion seems to be from south to north, almost to the northeast. A couple of showers moving through parts of Jackson and Calhoun counties and even toward Bay County, around the Panama City area. So they're getting that influx of some of that humidity coming in off the Gulf of Mexico. Temperatures, though, it's still feeling a lot like summer across most of the region. Low 90s with, again, the exception to our west. So the clouds and the showers are kind of capping the temperature there, cooling it down into the mid-80s. But here is the forecast satellite and radar. And again, off and on, it looks like the clouds are moving in. And notice that motion is from south to north. Embedded within the clouds, we're also seeing some showers and the possibility of them, not just to our west, but also to our east and as well to our west. So we could see some of those scattered showers as we head through tomorrow. This would be for, of course, Wednesday. All of this isn't even Helene. This is just what we're expecting ahead of it. So here's your forecast for tonight. Got some clouds. Winds are going to go calm, but temperatures by morning dropping into the mid-70s. For the rest of the area, pretty uniform. Of course, the warmest temperatures down at the coast. Looks like St. Mark's hanging on to 79 with Carabel and Apalachicola staying a very warm and muggy 80 degrees. Also the possibility of some thunderstorms there with that influx of some moisture. Tomorrow, as we head through Wednesday, could see some isolated thunderstorms across the region. It's not going to be uniform and everywhere, but don't be surprised if one of those hit or miss storms develops. That'll cap the temperatures as the clouds are starting to build. So we're looking at 87 degrees. That'll be, of course, your high temperature. Across the rest of the region, again, not much difference. Maybe a little bit warmer where the clouds are a little slower to build. So Valdosta and Perry looking like about 90 degrees. A little bit cooler toward the coast. Got a little bit more in the way of clouds and a higher chance of rain. So mid-80s there. And even Bainbridge looks like they're going to warm up to about 87 degrees. Here's the week ahead. Thursday, that's our day. That's our day where we're really going to see the influence of what should be Hurricane Helene. And of course, that's going to take the temperature down. So we've got just about everybody getting rain ahead of it. Slight chance of rain on the backside. Things should dry out. And temperatures for highs as we head through the weekend looking like they're only going to warm into the upper 80s. Again, with a little bit more rain on Monday, it looks like maybe some mid-80s, and temperatures in the morning hours looks like they're going to actually fall into the low 70s. So here is a peek at some of the cameras across the southeast. So we got 4 cities highlighted for you. We've got Orlando, 90 degrees, and looks like there's a whole bunch of sunshine there, so enjoy it while you can. Charleston, South Carolina, you got plenty of sunshine too. In fact, I don't even see a cloud in the sky, 87 degrees. Charlotte, a few clouds and a little cooler at 83. Last spot, Atlanta, 87 degrees, pretty similar to what we've been experiencing, and I don't know that there are any surprises there. Here are some other numbers across the entire southeast. It's really warm in parts of Louisiana. Shreveport at 90, even in Mississippi, Jackson at 90 degrees, Atlanta the same. Montgomery at 93 looks to be the hot spot, except if you head to Florida, then of course you'll notice Tampa at 94, Miami 89 degrees. So we've got some pretty warm temperatures across the region. We also have the humidity kind of climbing up there a bit. And of course, when you add the humidity to the temperature, it makes it feel warmer, as you know, those of us who have been in Florida for a while kind of know that. So as you look, you'll see it feels incredibly hot in some spots. Again, the heat index in Tampa, 103. So, of course, you guys know the rules. You know, a lot of water. Slow down if you can, if you have to be outside. Even New Orleans, it's always sticky there. 97 degrees, the heat index, mid-90s in Shreveport as well. It doesn't feel quite so bad, though, if you're in Nashville. 71, the heat index. So they probably need a little bit more heat, you know, especially if their blood is a little bit thin. Okay, here's your future radar, something you really need to pay attention to. And while it was looping pretty quickly, you did see that swirl. That, of course, being Helene, which, again, we fully expect to be a hurricane, heading from south to north and moving across the Big Bend, so northeastern Gulf Coast. Now, it could nudge a little bit either right or left, but overall, it's coming our way. This has been, you know, since last week, they kind of have had the path set out. Now, the actual track may wander a little bit, but the overall projection is it's going to impact us. And with that, you guys know that a hurricane can do all kinds of stuff across the region, especially in the way of rainfall. The only good news, if there is any good news, is it's moving quickly. So it's just going to kind of hit and run. It's going to blast us with a whole lot of rain. In fact, Tallahassee could see a storm total of over 5 inches of rain. And even parts to our north may be seeing a little bit more in the way of rain. For example, Atlanta may get locked in with a front that's kind of approaching. Lesser amounts outside, but again, with the focus being around the Big Bend, this is where we fully expect the greatest amount of rain. I've got Cicely here with me to talk a little bit more about Hurricane Helene. So here we go.
Thank you so much, Nancy. We are going to be talking about Tropical Storm Helene and the impacts, what we can expect, especially since we look like we might be right in the middle of that area. So, we right now are getting a hurricane warning. That means that the watch is over. This is our 5 p.m. hurricane warning for Tallahassee. That means we are getting that expected Category 3. This is just happening right now. If you heard that noise on your phone, this just happened live as well. So we are going to keep going and take a look at those graphics for Tropical Storm Helene right now. Right now it is moving 50 miles per hour. It is coming from the northwest at 12 miles per hour. The pressure is 995 millibars. We can expect that pressure to go down as it moves towards Tallahassee. We are going to get a good bit of that storm. And we can expect the eye to be close, maybe a little bit to the east if it shifts a little bit, but definitely over Tallahassee. This is our storm projection as of right now. 50 miles per hour winds right now, those are going to get up to 115 miles per hour, which is not something you want to be in. So Thursday, make sure you look out, stay inside if you are not evacuating. This is going to be a major hurricane. It's expected to be a Category 3. And I'm going to show you the Saffir-Simpson scale after this to show you a little bit more of what that means when I say Category 3, being a major hurricane. For our storm surge, this is the major thing to look out for. Even though Tallahassee is landlocked, A lot of these other places, it may not be hitting directly, but we can expect that storm surge, especially in Cedar Key, to rise up to 15 feet. That means you are going to be look at your ceiling, and that is where the flooding is going to occur. So especially in the areas of living on the coast, if you live on the beach, it is very necessary to evacuate, especially for a Category 3 or higher. These major hurricanes can bring storm surge, and that can lead to an increased risk of dangerous flooding and more. For our power outage, it looks like the power outages is going to be a little bit isolated over Tallahassee. This recently just shifted over to the east. So you can expect some power outages, especially in Tallahassee, but it will be a little bit more localized into the east, where there's not as much of, not the FSU campus as much, but you can still expect that to happen, and it could shift at any point. So always watch your NOAA radar. And for our tropical storm, Helene, you can see that the track, it just happened to be, it changes to a major hurricane, especially on 8 a.m. Thursday. This is very important because we have that loop current. And since it's becoming a major hurricane on that Thursday, Nancy's going to tell us a little bit more about that loop current.
So in the southeastern Gulf of Mexico, the water there is incredibly warm, and they came up with the term, they call it the loop current, and very many storms, when they move over it, because that's what fuels a hurricane, they will blow up. They intensify really rapidly. So we've got a rapidly intensifying and accelerating and then a growing hurricane. It really is kind of a nightmare that is going to be approaching this area as we head toward Thursday.
Yeah, it's going to be a pretty big storm as we expect. I know in the past we have looked at, radars. They always say Category 3 and it ends up being a tropical storm, which I'm sure a lot of Tallahassee FSU students, that's what they're expecting to happen again. But especially with the warm Gulf, the loop current, that trough that was over Tennessee, there are a lot of favorable conditions for this to intensify very quickly.
And that's it. They're all coming together. So the steering, it's between, as you said, that trough and then the high that's off the East Coast, and that's what's really going to kind of take it up our way, which, is not something that we need, but something that we can prepare for.
Yes. And so if you are evacuating, I suggest that you go to the west, northwest. That is your best bet right now. Louisiana, perhaps. If you're staying, you definitely need some non-perishable foods, flashlights, NOAA radio. Anything else you suggest?
Batteries. We don't like candles because there's a fire hazard with that. One of the tricks, and I was telling this to others before, fill up just to get ready for it, fill up Ziploc bags about 3/4 of the way with water.
Okay.
Push everything in the freezer back. Today would be the day to do it.
Yeah.
And then push these water bags around everything, and when they freeze, you have this block of ice. So if the power goes out, you bought some time here, you got everything cold, and then you can take a few of them and throw it in the refrigerator to keep those items cold.
Yeah.
But little things that we can do to kind of help ourselves.
And definitely make sure that you buy some bottled water in case of contamination. I believe the EOAS building will be offering shelter during the storm, so if those Tallahassee apartments, break down like they usually do, you can always take shelter at the EOAS, the building next to the Union.
Right, and be smart about it. Just try not to be outside during the event. Again, we're looking at Thursday, and it looks like it's going to be afternoon into the evening hours.
Yes.
So there's a little bit of a window here, time for us to get ready for it. So do what you can.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much for watching FSU Weather. This is Cicely Hammer, student meteorologist.
And Nancy Dignan, regular meteorologist.
Thank you so much, and please stay safe during Tropical Storm and potential Hurricane Helene.